Holy moly. If this was red, I would look like Dexter or somebody. Just checking out my apron, and it's a bloody mess. I need to do something about that. Hi everybody, it's Karen from Waterfall Acrylics. Long time no see. Happy to be back painting again. Yay! This is video number 19 for those keeping track. And I had promised in my previous video that I would do a negative space painting. So that's what I'm going to do. Before we get started, let me show you the finished result from the last video, which is this guy right here. It goes like this. I haven't really decided which way the orientation should be. I'm really happy with it. It came out, it dried perfectly. And now I'm deciding whether or not to try to resin on canvas, which makes it kind of stiff, so I'm not real sure about that, or to just put some mini wax polyacrylic on it. To be determined. I have a very interested buyer in it already, so that's good. And I sold 2 paintings over the last couple days. So painting number 3 sold. So that's good news. And for those of you who said you had trouble hearing me last time, I think I figured it out. And that when I futzed with the camera in the middle of that video, I think I covered up the microphone accidentally. That's my first theory. Second theory is that the noise from the street may have been what the microphone was picking up on instead of my voice. I'm not real sure. You guys can let me know in the comments. My hair looks terrible. And enough of that. Let's get to painting. Move this down. So tonight I have, that's really crooked. Hold on. There we go. Tonight I have a just a 10 by 20 canvas. I've already poured my titanium white all over it in the interest of time, and because, come on, that's pretty boring, you gotta admit. And for that, I just use Floetrol and water. I don't see the need to waste, you know, actual pouring medium for just a canvas float like that. So that's what I did. Tonight's colors, I'm just going to go with 4 colors, but 2 of the same. So basically this is going to be a blue and orange painting. So I have 2 oranges and 2 blues. So first up, lots of different brands tonight too. So I have the Cadmium Orange U, Dick Blick brand. I have the Liquitex Basic. This is the Cobalt Blue hue. And then from Artist Loft, I have a little metallic orange. And I'm going to talk about that one because I really didn't want to be too metallic-y, and I also wanted to be opaque. So what I've done in my little cup here is I've added a dollop of pale terracotta from Winsor & Newton. Just to calm it down a little bit, maybe lighten it up a little bit so it has a little bit more of a contrast with the cadmium. And then finally, for my dark blue, my favorite, the Sennelier French brand, the Blue Indigo. I'm still very enamored with this dark inky color blue. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. And then for my pouring medium, I think in the past, I know I've talked about Vallejo pouring medium, and I have always used it in conjunction with other additives, such as mixing it with Floetrol or using it with my, you know, a healthy dash with my PVA and Floetrol mix. Or even one time I think I combined it with the Liquitex pouring medium. I don't know why I did that, but you know, it's just goofing around, I guess. So tonight I thought, let's give this product a try all by itself. So that's all I'm going to use, nothing else but the Vallejo pouring medium the stinky stuff, you can get this at Dick Blick's, at least that's where I get it, or purchase it from them online. It's a little bit less expensive than the Liquitex pouring medium. Not a whole lot, but if you get one of their 30% coupons, then you can get a, what's this, like a 16.9 ounce bottle for, you know, 17 bucks or so. So that's what we're gonna do. And tonight, since it's straight pouring medium, I did not pre-mix the colors. I thought I would show you how I do that and how I come up with my consistency to make it, well, consistent across all the colors. So let me get started with some mixing. It's a hot and muggy, what's today, Wednesday night in New York City. I'm just gonna mix up these two oranges for a second. And you know I'm gonna be choosy one of these times and do a painting on a Saturday night. And maybe I should go live, just so I could say, live on Saturday night. That's so cheesy. So cheesy. All right, so that basically what adding the pale terracotta did to my metallic orange is it just kind of calmed it down a little bit. In fact, I'm going to calm it down just a touch more and add another little dollop. I could do this with tea white, but I didn't want it to, the color necessarily to get that much lighter. So that's why I'm using the terracotta instead of white. Give that a mix. So basically retains its color, but without being so sparkly. Because I like the shade a lot, and I liked it with the these two, you know, the medium and then the light. But I didn't want it so light that it was pastel. So that's pretty much what it looks like now. All right. I have maybe a half an ounce of paint in my little cups that I get from the grocery store, and I'm just going to go ahead and give a squirt of the really super stinky, I wish I had a mask, pouring medium. I'm just going to add just enough. If you ask me what the ratio was, I would say probably about 60% paint, phew, at 30% pouring medium. So we're gonna give that a good mix. See how stiff it is on my stick. And give it a whirl. Still very, very glumpy. I don't want to add a whole bunch more, maybe just a small squirt. That. I do like that the bottle comes with the squirt feature instead of being open. So it's easy to control how much you want. And I'm going to add a dash of water to this. So for my water, it's going to be a very thin layer, just enough to cover the bottom of my little jar here and mix. And I can already tell that it's no longer stiff. When I say stiff, it's just, you know, baking reference. For those of you that have made meringues or whatever, the more you whip it, the stiffer it gets. This is the opposite. Something crazy is going on outside. There's like all kinds of sirens and the police are racing around. Holy moly. Can you guys hear that? Ah, it's like 3 ambulances. Ooh, that's not good. I hope people are okay. Off they go. Sorry, I got distracted by that. What was I saying? Yeah, so just a baking reference. And baking or cooking, you know, the stiffer a sauce is, or an icing, you want it to be stiff. This is the opposite. You want it to be left stiff, and it's still, well, pretty stiff. Stiff is the word of the night. And there we go. Alright, clean stick. Test your colors. There you go, looking good. Alright, 1 down, 3 to go. Got the bright blue there. See, very little in here. I don't know if you can see that because it's liquid and it's clear, but that's about how much pouring medium I've added to the paint. That's probably only about 30%. I'm going to add a little bit more. Give this a mix. Oh my goodness. Seriously, if you're going to use this, get some masks. I totally forgot about that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done this tonight without a mask. Or maybe it's just me and I'm really sensitive to this smell and it doesn't bother others. I don't know. I know I talked about it before though, so. My nose is pretty consistent. Still a little stiff. I can almost stick my stick straight up in the cup. So I'm just gonna give that one little squirt. Mix it up, add a dash of water. Mix it up. We had our first house guest last weekend. That's why I haven't been painting. So good friends of ours came into town and they made us a handcrafted, gorgeous dining room table because the dining area in my apartment wasn't big enough for my table for my home back in Virginia. And so they made me one, like I want to say it's an octagon, but it's 6 sides. So whatever that's called, a septicon, I don't know. Table out of reclaimed, I believe a barn door, which is awesome. So now I have to get chairs for it. But they came up for the weekend and we dorked around town and ate lots and lots of good food. That's where all your money goes in New York City, is the food, not entertainment, the food, because nearly every hole-in-the-wall restaurant is just amazing. All right, on to the next orange. So we had some Peruvian, some Italian, and I found a good local bagel shop in my neighborhood where I can get my once a week only bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. And I already have a great coffee shop. This is still a little stiff, clumpy too. So that was a lot of fun. As you, I don't know if you can see behind me before. I still have the, we bought an air mattress. It's actually pretty comfortable. I was very surprised. So, and I decorated the 3rd bedroom. You probably didn't get to see all that too, but I have, I hung a lot of my unsold paintings. And then I'll put them on my Facebook page, my Waterfall Acrylics page, for sale. And then if someone buys some, I just grab it off the wall and ship it off. So, I sold 2 paintings a couple of days ago to the same person who apparently walked by our booth at a local farmer's market about a month ago back home, and he said he didn't say anything because he was with his girlfriend, but she had pointed out a painting that she really liked, and so I guess they just kind of glanced at it and kept on walking. And he is deployed to Afghanistan and sent me a message on my page and wanted to buy it for his girlfriend. And I said, sure. And then he decided to he bought, it's Sedimentary, My Dear, which I did, I think that was video number 16. He bought that painting as well. And I just finished resining that, so it needs just 2 more days to cure, and I'm going to mail them to his girlfriend's house in Virginia as close to August 11th as I can, so that he can FaceTime her and surprise her with my paintings, which is so cool. So I've been chatting with him. And he paid me already, he paid me on the spot through Venmo, and then wants to know how much just checking the consistency again, that's good. Wants to know how much he owes me for shipping, and I'm just gonna say thank you for your service and not charge him for the shipping, whether he likes it or not. Mwah. But I thought that was really cool. I even looked him up on Facebook to see, do I recognize this guy? And I totally did not. All right, same deal, another squirt. In here. I mean, it's always thrilling when you sell something, but when it comes with a backstory, it just makes your day. He made my day, he made my week. And then, I don't know, about 2 months ago, same deal, I got contacted by a tattoo artist in Pennsylvania who saw one of my paintings online and wanted to buy it to cheer up her best friend who had just gotten a divorce from his wife and was feeling kind of low, and had just moved into, was starting over and getting a bachelor pad, and needed to decorate because I guess the wife got most of his things. And so she bought him a painting of mine and gave it to him as a housewarming present. And he was thrilled. And I was like, aw, that's so nice. And actually, she and I been corresponding back and forth. She's a very talented tattoo artist. And it was just nice, to take something you've created and make somebody else feel better. I'm gonna get all sappy on you guys. I'm gonna stop talking about it. All right. Oh no, still very stiff. Time for a dash of water. Almost done with the stirring portion of the program. We'll move on to the layering portion next. And I have a confession to make, is that I really don't like negative space pours. Never have, never been my favorite. I don't know why, just a personal preference. I just think they remind me of jazz music. I just think they're totally disorganized. So that's my take on negative space pours. That, and I think in order for, don't get me wrong, there's been a ton I've seen that I really appreciated and was jealous over, but on the whole, ooh, did you see that? I just totally splooged myself. On the whole, I tend not to do them because I think the composition has to be so spot on. to have a good one. And I find myself a lot of times staring at the white, at the negative space, instead of staring at the pour, which I guess should be the opposite way. And if the white portion isn't pleasing to my eye, then I'm bugged. Then I'm just bugged by the whole thing. So I have very few negative space pours in my repartee, as they say, or in my gallery. Somebody commented on my Instagram page and said, "You have a lovely gallery." And I'm like, "Gallery?" I'm like, "Oh, that's fancy. I'll take it. I like that." Gallery. I have a gallery, an online gallery. Sounds so hoity-toity to me for some reason. All right, colors mixed. I already have a dollop of my tea white at the bottom of this, and I wasn't gonna do anything fancy, y'all. Basically, I was just gonna do an L. Do I have paint over there? So I'm just gonna do a pour from here and just come up one side and leave the other side blank. That was it. Kind of simple, simplistic, but it's a good way to test out this pouring medium all by itself. I'm not going to put any silicone in the actual colors. I might add some in my thing, in between my layers instead, and get some gloves on and let's see what happens. This should be interesting. So, I promise I will post this no matter how this comes out. Even if it's a disaster, because I think it's interesting for people to see the Vallejo pouring medium and how it behaves. So I think even if my painting is less than stellar, you guys will have a reference point on the pouring medium. So hopefully that'll be helpful. All right, I got a little bit of white left too, that's good. So let's just start with metallic oranges. Some in here. And I'm not going to really alternate colors. I'm just going to do orange, orange, blue, blue. Can you guys hear all the sirens? Like something major is going on outside. I don't want to be nosy Nelly and go outside though, but I just hope people are okay, because that's been like 4 ambulances and a fire truck and all kinds of police have been rip-roaring by my building. Let me put a drop of silicone, like as a barrier right there, maybe 2 drops. 1, 2. Dark blue, my inky blue, and then the medium blue, medium blue just wants to sink right away. It doesn't want to sit on top. That's a lot of paint already. So I'm going to give that top that off like a little sandwich with some white. Kind of give it a go, see what happens. All in good fun. Now I'm going to plop this. Do I want to pour, or do you want me guys want to drag? Decisions, decisions. Maybe I just pour. I haven't done a pour in a while. Just a straight old pour. That's going to be, I'm going to stop there and come over here so I have some blue at this end. scrape right through here. I don't like this white. Do not like that white over there. What can I do about it? Yeah, this is boring. What do you think? Boring? Let's see. This is probably going to be more white. Let me try it out over here. Let's try it out off the canvas first and see what we get. Don't like it? I'm not going to mess with it. That's really boring. Really, really boring. So boring. I'm going to mix up a little bit more color. And since I only have a little bit of paint left, I'm just going to use this orange cup. I'll layer in some blue on top. The other blue. Yeah, let me put in a drop of cellophane. Just one. The other blue. Peel that off. And pour some more. Let's come over here. There's the orange, that's better. And since I have the orange going, and then just another line up here. Get on there. All the way. All the way. It looks like a half-assed wrapped present. I don't know about this, y'all. A tiny bit of orange left, just for some balance, just a little crisscross over on this one corner. If I can get this line of orange to come out. Something like that. Huh. All right. What do I like about this so far? Anything at all? I think I did a decent job of allowing enough white space that I can tilt a little bit and get things more, a little bit, a third of the paint onto the canvas rather than a quarter, if that makes sense. Like push it all out just a smidge more in both directions. And then, hell, give it a torch and see what happens. So let me go this way first with this guy to come up this way a little bit. Hopefully. Just a little bit. Oh, look at that other stuff. Run away. Run away. Well, if you want to go that way, go ahead. Just a little bit over there. Okay. Make some sort of weird mountain thing that I don't like. I don't like you one bit. Go back over this way. See what happens. That's a little better. Don't mind my head while I stare intently. I gotta say one thing though is that the colors are very, very vivid. I don't know if that's showing up on your end or not, but really gorgeous. I don't know if that's the pouring medium or what, but it's popping right off that white canvas. Let me grab my torch. See if the Vallejo does anything, which it should. Other times in the past, man, it has sold out way more than I ever wanted it to, so I wouldn't think that tonight would be any different. And I've lost my torch. Bear with me one sec. I did my torch. Oh, there it is. Found it. Alright. Does anyone else's torch look as bad as mine? I mean, this thing has just been so well loved. And for as paint laden as it is, it just keeps on ticking. Keeps on working. Alright, go high, pop some bubbles as usual. And let's just try some of these areas here. Lots and lots of baby cells. No big ones coming out. I wonder if that's because I poured instead of, you know, doing a flip cup or a flip and drag. Oh, there you go. Maybe I spoke too soon. Oh yeah, spoke too soon. Whoa, do you guys see that right there? Right. I don't know what to make of it. Do I keep going? Do I do the other side and leave the rest, you know, do this and just leave it blank in the middle? Do I dare do that? I have, how much paint do I have left? I have a little itty bitty bit of black left, and I have some blue left and a little bit of orange. Do I dare continue on and just, you know, maybe do a little wiggle pattern like through here? Why not? Let's experiment. Particularly since I have some white in my big cup here. I'm just going to add inky dark blue, since I have a splash of that left. Or can you guys see me doing this yet? Let's throw that into my white. The other orange is gone, and then the brilliant blue, I'm going to dash of that left too. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, for fun. There's not a whole lot of paint there. Well, maybe I can do some sort of wiggle. Wiggle. I actually kind of like that with the white. It's like two different paintings. I'm going to do that through here too. Be brave, be bold. Be afraid to screw it up. That's what I say. And drag that right through there. I don't know about that. It is definitely two different paintings now. I got two different personalities, the left and the right. I am out of paint. Oh, I got my new, got my gloves back, my Mr. Clean. For girl hands instead of man hands. These are my favorite. I get the ones that are the latex, that are beaded and just lightly powdered. They're my favorite because the touch of powder really does help slip them on your hands easier. And they fit me pretty well. It's the small things in life. Well, very interesting experiment tonight. I may have wasted a bunch of paint. See, look how that's still floating on around on top of my white. Look at that. I am not going to have a negative space pour now at all. They're like, what the hell is she doing? So I'm going to post this because I realized I know what's wrong. You're like, what's wrong? And here's what's wrong. The consistency of my paint for my white that's on the canvas is heavier than the consistency of the paint in my cups. So if you notice how easy it was running around, but it wasn't taking the white with it. The white was staying in place, just hanging out, not moving at all. You can tell that kind of by, if you look at my table, let me lift this up a second. Look at my table, that's old white from when I first poured. Anything that's on the table, that should have just as much white coming off as the colors. And it doesn't, because the white is just sitting there and the other colors are running in rivulets across the canvas, not even affecting the white on the canvas. So look at that, you can see it. So that is my mistake. That is my big mistake tonight. That hopefully you guys will learn from as well. So what that means to me, what that says to me is I have to ensure that if I'm going to do this, I can't have the paints in my cup. I have to get my consistency closer to my white that's on the canvas. Well, since I never do these types of pours because they're not my favorite, I kind of forgot about that. So if you weren't aware of it, it's something to consider, that they should be as close to the same consistency as you can get them. Another thing that will help too is if you mix your paints at the same time, because then they'll feel the same on your stick. My paint was left over in a squeeze bottle, so I don't know if that's why it was heavier, and I didn't pay attention because I was just busy covering up the canvas with the white. So now this is a giant hot mess. So just for giggles, I'm going to torch it and see if anything happens with the Vallejo pouring medium at all. And no, it's popping bubbles. But it is much, much too thin. So that's your Vallejo mixed too thin. Absolutely nothing's happening. Like I said, I used this before in conjunction with my usual Floetrol PVA recipe with a fair amount of success. So, gosh, that's a hot mess. I'm gonna call quits. I am not zooming in on that mess for you guys tonight. Utter failure. I'm gonna go off camera, scrape it, save my canvas, and maybe try again. Not ready to give up just yet, and make sure all paint consistencies are as equal as I can get them, and give it another whirl. So that's it. Where are you guys? Thanks for watching. I hope you find it at least a little bit educational. It's a journey, always learning, always growing. You guys take care, and I'll see you sooner than last time. Take care. Bye-bye.